We want you to feel comfortable about being a Zoom master and handling your Zoom contests. So let me walk through this document with you very briefly so that you have an idea of what to do in getting ready. And I've just changed that. So let me go back. All right, this is a document that's currently sitting in a shared drive. Can you just indicate with a physical hands up that you can see my screen? Excellent, thank you. Now this has been put together by the Zoom Masters team, and it's available to you from the link that you were given, I think today or very recently, from our Zoom Master leader, Heath Graham, who is also District 73 webmaster. Now, the first thing that you might want to do is to save this document to your own desktop. So to do that, you go to File on the top left and choose Download, and then choose probably PDF is best for you, although you can download the Microsoft Word format. The PDF keeps all the links in place, but you just download that to your folders system. If you want to share this document with others, so you want to share it with members of your club or area, on the top right-hand side is the share button. When you click into that, you'll get a link, and you'll see the link at the bottom, and you copy the link. Let me just bring that up a little bit. Copy the link, and it puts it into your temporary, what do we call that, Graham?
Clipboard.
Yes, that's it, into your clipboard. And that means you could then paste it into an email and share it with other people. So that's just a little bit about how to handle this document. But I'm sure you're all quite happy in going to a Google Drive and getting a Google Doc. So these are the steps that we're suggesting you do before, during and after the contest. So I'll run through them briefly. You'll get a better read of this yourself later. We're not going to take too long on it tonight. First thing is, if you are handling the contest in your Zoom room for your club, you will need a Pro Zoom account, because the free ones have a small limit of time. You then need to make sure that you've enabled the breakout rooms feature, because that's what you'll need in the contest. And you'll get a link to a tutorial here. You click on that blue link once and then click on the one underneath it. That takes you to the Zoom Help Center, and you can watch a small video there about how to set up your breakout rooms feature. You need to enable the join before host when setting up the meeting. As the host, you need to then disable the play chime when guests enter or leave the room, because any kind of noise is going to be distracting for us. You then make sure that the people playing critical roles in your contests are all co-hosts. So the speakers, of course, the judges, definitely the chief judge, and the counters, timers, and ushers. So as a Zoom master, you will need to give the co-host to them. Tonight I have given Graham the role of co-host, but as we get into the mock contests, I'm going to give the Zoom host to someone else who will then make me a co-host. You then need to prepare other roles. Your co-host can support the rooms, the chat, the waiting room as needed, and so on. You should advise that the people who are coming in late, you switch on the waiting room and make sure that they don't come in and interrupt the speakers. So make sure you know how to do that, and we'll cover that tonight. You need 2 ushers for the evaluation and table topics contests, and you ensure that the timers have the appropriate virtual backgrounds, a bit like the ones that Graham and I are showcasing tonight. And to get them in this document, you simply click on the virtual backgrounds and you go to another folder in the shared Google Drive where you can collect all the contest backgrounds, save them for yourself or share them with your timers. The judges need to remain anonymous throughout the contest, so you need to advise them to change their name to Judge 1, Judge 2, and so on. And they should not have their videos on. So for example, if I was to ask, let me see, Joy, I think you're still in the room. Joy Sloan. If I ask you to just quickly rename yourself as Judge 1 and turn off your video, that will show them what that's like. Thanks, Joy. I'm getting you to do a lot of work tonight, aren't I? And this point here about removing any identifying photo that will show up when their video is off. Let me demonstrate. If I turn off my video, what you're seeing is an avatar picture. So if your judges have their own pro Zoom room, they may have set up their own picture in there as their avatar. You'll need to ask them to change that. So Joy, if you just switch off your video for a moment. There we go. So Joy's, if you look for Judge 1, you'll see that that's what it should look like. Thank you, Joy. So it's a lot of preparation, and I think once you've got all of that under your belt, you'll feel a lot more comfortable and share it with as many people who are playing a particular role in your contest. So during the contest, this is the exciting part. You need to have these wonderful breakout rooms that Zoom provides for us. And you create, first of all, 2 empty breakout rooms called contestants and judges. And we're going to practice that tonight. And then when they're ready, the Zoom master moves the contestants into the contestants room and the judges into the judges room. So this is simulating what you would do in a physical venue where they go off for their briefings. So we'll simulate that tonight as well. Then when the contest starts, you enable the waiting room feature. That's where we need to make sure that there are no interruptions. There are some specifics for the contests like table topics or evaluations where we need to have contestants, most of them sent to the contestants' room when it's time to begin, except for the first contestant. And that's relevant to the table topics and evaluation contests. So the Zoom master then moves the participants into the main room after, one by one, after the previous speaker has completed their speech. And that ensures that there's no advantage by hearing someone else's table topic response or evaluation. It was always easier to do when it was in a physical venue. And then when all the contestants have finished speaking, we would need to stop the existing breakout rooms. We no longer need the briefing rooms for that contest. The Zoom master creates 2 new ones. This time we're going to call them judging and counting. And then the judges are moved to the judges room and the counters to the counting room. There are some procedures then for what happens in the judging room, and we'll simulate that for you tonight as well, with Graham playing the role of chief judge and giving you advice. The time when all the speakers are finished and it's time for the judges to tally up, they go into the judging room, they have their 2 minutes to finish, and then one by one they're called in to give their ballot to the chief judge and the counters. There are some variations to that. The chief judge may also request judges to send their an image or a PDF of their finished judging form, you know, the slip that you have at the bottom. But we'll get into some discussion about that later. So that's the document that you will find pretty easy to work through. You don't have to learn it off by heart, and it will stay there for you to gather. Now let me stop sharing and come back and see if there's any questions that have appeared in the chat. Graham, have you seen any?
Yes, Yvonne's asked, can the judging and counting room be set up in advance? And the answer is yes, they can. That's probably the easiest thing to do in the first instance, yes.
Yes, in fact, that's what I've done tonight. I've actually set up 4 rooms. Well, here I am gesturing and I haven't turned my video back on. I've set up 4 rooms so that you can see what I'm doing. So let me just share that with you now. So I'm going to this time share my actual screen so you can see my Zoom tools. All right, so you can now see down the bottom here the tools that I'm using. Just give me a thumbs up or a nod to see. Can you see the tools that I see? Some of them are different to yours. Okay, if I expand my screen so that I am showing it to fill my window, you'll see, let me turn the chat off and give myself more space, turn the participants off, and chat off. Why isn't it not going off? There we go. Phew. All right, down the bottom you can now see breakout rooms as a special icon, and only the Zoom host or Zoom master sees that. That's why I'm sharing my screen with you. So I've set up these 4 little breakout rooms. I'm hoping you can now see the pop-up window with the 4 breakouts called 1 contestants and 1 judges, and they were for, or would be for, the briefings. And then as someone asked, yes, you can have all 4 set up straight away. So you could then have your 3rd one called judging, and your 4th one. I mean, you can call them what you like, as long as it makes sense to those going in there. And call this one counting. And then what you would need to do is to assign people to various rooms. But I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm going to get someone else to do it. I'll just run through briefly how I would do it. And then I'm going to go into the interactive part of the session. So once you've got the breakout room started, you then assign. And as you can see, here are all the names of everyone in this session, but I don't know who's who. I don't know who's a contestant or who's a judge. But let's consider what you might do at the beginning when you've named or asked all the judges to name themselves, like I did with Joy before. So we'll assume that Joy is still a judge. If I select Joy's name, I don't want her in that room though, do I? Take that one away. Two judges, there we go. And if I knew that, let's say it was Jane who was a contestant, and I need to assign Jane to the contestants room like so. Can you see what I'm doing? And as I select their name, it appears in beside that room name, but they haven't gone anywhere. Once I click on Open All Rooms, the assignment takes place and people are automatically moved into the breakout room. Does that make sense to everybody? Let's find out if you've experienced it already. Let me just turn this off for the moment. In fact, I'm going to, I'll do that behind the scenes. Stop sharing. Let's find out those of you who have actually already been in breakout rooms. Okay, let's get some feedback happening. Sandra, what was it that you found most confusing, or what did you find enlightening?
Well, last Wednesday at Taronga, I found that some of us were sent to wrong rooms, and there was a bit of confusion about moving people around and making sure that they were in the correct room. So that was the first time I really experienced that. And another thing was discussing how we, like when I was a contestant, how did I get myself back into the breakout room, into the main room from the breakout room? How was I going to be notified to do that, or was the usher going to send me back? So little logistical things like that.
Yeah, that's very valid, and it's really spot on to what we've planned for us to do right now, is to get someone, and maybe it could be you, Sandra, if you wanted to volunteer as the apprentice number 1. Would you like to be that person?
Okay, I'll plunge in. If I stuff it up, we're all Toastmasters, we're all learning.
Yeah, that's fine. Can't break it.
I'm not a tech person, but I'm here to learn.
Yeah, good on you. All right, so what we'll do then, we'll set up Sandra as apprentice number 1, and I will assign you host in a moment, Sandra. And I also saw someone else's hand going up to say they'd experienced breakout rooms. Can I have those hands again? Oh, there was a quick one from Sanjeev. Would you like to unmute and tell us what you would like to pass on about breakout rooms?
Yeah, I think firstly, an amazing feature. It almost seems like they had Toastmasters in mind Toastmasters contest in mind when they made up all these features. Very good to have people moving across rooms. Although I struggled a bit, what we did was we have our meetings, we have our contest coming up in the next couple of weeks. And we used our previous meeting as a test to see how this whole thing works. The place where we struggled the most was communicating with the people who are in these rooms, asking them to come over to the main room or something. Looks like we need ushers for that, but that's probably the thing that I was a bit keen to learn today, how to communicate with folks who are in rooms.
Thank you, Saju. That's excellent. All right, you have just nominated yourself as Sandra's assistant or apprentice number 2. Sandra is now in charge. She is the Zoom master. So Sandra, your first task is to select Sanjeev from participants list and give him a co-host.
Right. I've never done this.
That's okay.
So, Sanjeev, how do I make him a co-host?
You see more to the right of his name.
Yes.
And in there you should see make
Sanjeev.
co-host.
Okay. Hang on. Clicking on him or clicking on the list of participants? Sorry, I'm really starting from scratch.
That's okay.
Type his name in. Ah, got him. Yes. So Sanjeev Moore. Good. Make a co-host.
Yay! And that's as simple as it gets. It's just a matter of looking around and finding out what to do. While you're there, Sandra, would you please make me co-host? I feel a little nervous about not having any permission.
Anybody knowing what they're doing, yes. Understood.
Not that. All right, thank you. Excellent. All right, the next step. First of all, I would like Sandra to put in front of her name A1, which means your apprentice 1.
Okay.
And Sanjeev, in front of your name, could you put A2, just to identify these two apprentices tonight. And what Sandra is going to do in a moment is to show us how she is going to create a room and then assign everybody except for me and Sanjeev to go into that room. So Sandra, at the bottom of your screen,
Yes.
you'll see now breakout rooms. But
Okay.
I would like you to share your screen so that we can see what you do.
Okay.
And
Haven't even done this before.
Oh, good for you. So you click on the green share screen.
Yes, I've
Bottom,
done that. Yes.
and then select the very first option which says share screen on the top left.
Hang on. I've got, yes. Is that it? No. Screen. I'm screen sharing.
You are, but we're seeing other parts of your screen. We just want to see your Zoom window.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. How do I get out of that?
All right, just stop sharing first of
sharing?
all. That's
Yes.
that. Okay.
Share screen. All right. One participant can share at a time. No, do I just click on the green button, or do I choose something from the pop-up menu under share screen?
When you click on the share screen,
Yes.
the pop-up menu has several options,
Yes,
and it
does.
should have the very first one sharing as highlighted in blue, and it says screen.
Oh, okay. No, I was going even further back than that. Okay. Yes. Well, it did screen, a picture of it, and I clicked on that before.
And then click the word.
got.
Okay. All right. All right. We're stuck a little bit. That's okay. We'll manage.
Green.
What you can do instead of trying to share.
No.
No, let's not put you under that pressure. Stop sharing. What I'd like you to do in the background is go to the breakout rooms, which is the button at the bottom.
Yes.
And then we're going to send everyone to the contestants room, everyone except for myself and Sanjeev. So you can point to the contestants room at the top and click on assign.
I haven't got a contestants room yet. I've got to create them, don't I?
Did we lose them?
Well, I don't know. You might have them, but when I clicked on breakout rooms, it says create breakout rooms. So
okay, yes, we might have lost them as I switched host. That's a good tip for me. All right, so you need to create one room.
Just one question, sorry, Carol. Does the host only get to see the breakout room option, or can I also see it as a co-host?
No, this is the problem. It's only the Zoom host who can see, create, and assign.
Right. Now, I just clicked on breakout rooms and I've got a menu. Then, since you can't see my screen, breakout rooms not started. I've got breakout room 1 with 18 participants listed. Do I add a room at this stage or recreate, or how do I proceed?
That's a bit hard. Actually, can you do me a favor and give me back host? I think it'll make it easier if I do this first part for us all.
It probably will. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't want to put you under pressure.
I make you host by
going to participants. Thank you. And I will make you co-host.
Learn skill number 1.
All right, so now I'm going to share my screen again. I'll just check the breakout rooms, see what we've got. Okay, they're all still there.
Yeah.
And we'll recreate all rooms. All right, the first room I'm going to rename as contestants. And then in the interest of time saving, I'm going to assign everyone except Sanjeev and I to the contestants room. So what I'm doing now is I'm just selecting everyone's name in the list under the contestants. So I've now got 18 people in that one room. And as soon as I click on open all rooms, you will all go into that room. Graham will come with you and Graham will run through a mock kind of briefing, what happens in a briefing room. And whilst that's happening, Sanjeev and I will talk through the process of sending broadcast messages for Graham to know when to come back. All right with that? So away we go.
Would I be allowed to sit in on that, Carol?
Instead of going into the breakout?
Instead of going into the contestants' briefings, because I've been through some of them.
Okay. Excellent. All right, I've just unselected you, and you and Sanjeev will stay behind. And now I'll open up the rooms, and Graham, you'll be in Graham's hands. Okay. Must have missed Peter. Sorry, Peter. Oh no, he's gone. Excellent. All right, just us now. And I'll share my screen with you so you can see what I'm doing. All right, can you see the pop-up?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay. All right, so all the mock contestants are over there in the contestants room. If we make a mistake, let's say that I really wanted Joy to go into the judges' room, I could highlight her name here and then move her into the correct room if there was a room for her to go.
Yeah.
And what we are suggesting at the beginning is that we only have 2 rooms open just for the briefings, contestants and judges, so that you don't have too many multiple rooms that could go wrong. So that might get you out of that problem that you were indicating, Sanjeev.
Yeah, so one question there. So we did try this broadcast option, but what, first of all, as a host, we can't see the broadcast message, makes sense. But what we learned was that the message went to everybody and not just the folks in a certain room. Is that how it is designed? Are you familiar with any changes that can be done there?
Yes, but at the moment, because all of the others are only in one room, the broadcast just goes to that one room. If you are giving a timing prompt, yes, it will go to all rooms. So it could be that you are saying, right, we have 5 minutes to go, 1 minute to go. Everyone will see the broadcast message.
Yeah, so where I was coming from was like, let's say table topic speech or the judges going in to report to the chief judge, right? So you just want them to come in one at a time. Yes. So if I send a message, let's say, you know, XYZ, please come back in, right?
Yeah.
That looks like the message goes to everybody.
Ah, I see. Okay. So the better way around that is that the private messaging to the person managing that room to say, all right, send back contestant number 2, send back contestant number 3.
So you need a role for every room to be managed by somebody.
You do. That is very, very important that you have someone there.
Yeah.
So in the case of the contestants briefing, it's the contest chair. In the judging room, it's the chief judge, and so on. And the counters can all play a role. So yes, all of them, that's why we give them all co-hosts.
Okay.
How many people
that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, how many people can be co-hosts?
As
many as you have in the room, I believe. There's no limit.
Okay.
The only limit is who gets to be host.
No, I don't think that's true. It depends on what kind of a Zoom level you have. the very first level of Zoom, not the free one, but
Yeah.
once you get a paid one, I think allows for 8 or 9 co-hosts, which is more than
Okay.
enough in this case. But
Yeah, more than enough. But we have had more than that, and it depends on what pro account you've got. So
Correct.
if you've got extra permissions there, you can extend it. But for a normal club's room, the 8 to 9 should be sufficient.
yeah.
Okay.
But just curious, why do you say that the speakers need to be co-hosts?
I don't think I ever have been.
That's a very good question. It's in the rules that I've just read out, and it occurred to me, why is that so?
I don't think they need to, in my opinion.
No. All right, so we've got someone coming back into the room as host. That's interesting. I'm just sending that broadcast message before I got distracted. So I'm just letting Graham know that we're going to call them back in 2 minutes' time. So that message goes into that room and he will see that.
But you can pick an individual person out, and for instance, if you've got an usher keeping an eye on everyone during table topics, for instance, all the contestants, watching them until they come in, you can just send a message to them to say, send so-and-so back in. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm just looking at Graham. Graham, did you drop out? No, that's not Graham. I'm not sure who that is coming in, but there's Graham there. So if I click on his name, can I actually send?
That's not your avatar board or whatever down the bottom, is it? Oh, no,
it's Heath. Oh, it's
Yes.
our webmaster. Hello, Heath.
Yes.
All right. So Heath may be able to answer that question for us. Just let him. Oh,
Something is happening. I'm not able to figure out.
yeah, this is a bit weird because Heath's come in on the same permission levels. We've got a little problem here.
So the host has automatically gone to Heath. Makes no sense.
Yep. Heath, are you able to unmute and talk to us?
Yeah, sure. I'll try and make one of you the host. Yeah, it looks like I clicked one of the links and it must have taken over.
Yep.
Carol's the host.
Carol, are you sharing your screen?
I'll just stop sharing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder that's what is okay. It's mirroring. Okay.
I remember
no
the
sense.
other thing about breakout rooms that was impressed upon me as a contestant: don't leave the whole meeting, just leave the breakout room and go back into the main room.
Yes.
Because it would be very easy to click the wrong thing and
Absolutely.
find yourself cut off and maybe not able to get on again.
Indeed. So that's why when Graham and I were discussing our roles tonight, he will make sure that he tells them just to click on return to main room, not leave altogether. Anyway, I'm going to prompt him one more time. And it looks
Good,
like
Sanju. Hats off to you.
you're trying out the virtual filters. That's beautiful.
Yes.
All right.
Let me try the hats off.
I'm just going to send a last broadcast message, and this is, please return to main room.
The other thing that we discussed, at least at Hawthorn, and I didn't do it because I was competing, but we talked about having a separate means of communicating the results that I brought to your attention.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
same.
We have restarted it. Yeah.
I saw it that way as well.
Yes.
Okay, so I have made both of y'all the co-host.
Lovely. All right. So now, can you please? I'm not sure if you can share your screen with us, Darshan, and show us what you're doing in renaming a breakout room to be judging. Would you try that?
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we're not seeing your actual Zoom master screen. So just need to see Zoom.
Just need
Okay.
to click on, yeah, no.
Sorry, Graham.
I was going to say you just need to make the Zoom screen active by clicking on Zoom in your taskbar down the bottom.
So I'm not supposed to share the entire screen?
Yeah, you are. If you,
Yep.
you click on the green share screen, that's
Yeah.
cool. So you're sharing all of your screens.
Yes.
You just need to click on Zoom, exactly where your cursor is now. Click on
Yeah,
that.
I'm clicking on it, but that's
okay.
all I can see.
Okay.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. Okay.
I think it's something to do with the Zoom software. If you are not in the latest version, because this feature, I think, believe released very recently. If your software
No,
is not up to date, you will
what
never.
seems to be happening is correct, right? Because I would assume that it automatically, when you say share screen, it will start sharing what is on the screen. It cannot share itself.
There's a little trick though about this. You have to explicitly enable to see Zoom screens. Usually when you share screen, it doesn't share any of the Zoom stuff at all. So I don't know, Carol, if it's turned that on
Yeah.
off again by going to different host.
It might be that, but let's not put Darshan under pressure again. Just stop the share and just go to the breakout room.
Yeah.
Choose any one of them and rename it judging.
So yeah, I'm going to rename contestants to judging, if that's okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so this time you're going to assign everyone except for Kanchana and myself.
So, yep.
And then Graham will go with you. And this time you could discuss the process for what happens with the judging of the contest. Is that all right with you, Graham?
Absolutely fine.
Good. Okay.
So I'm just wanting to ask one question. I have so there is all the there are 15 members in the judging room already in my list, and I need to keep A2 and yourself Zoom Master
one,
which is right now. I can't see in the list right now. Actually,
Oh,
I can
that's
see
all right.
Zoom Master 1. But my question is, what do I do with A2? How do I not send that person to the judging room?
So just don't click on the little box beside his name.
It says move to. Because the thing is these people are already, I'm renaming one of the breakout rooms.
Yeah.
So the name of all these people are already there in the list.
Yes, but you haven't assigned them yet.
Oh, okay. I see what seems to have happened. Try that with another room, Darshan. Because if you're already renaming the room where all of us are, then there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, that's right, Sanjeev. Thank you. Choose another one of the rooms. Quite right. It's hard to think what's happening in the background.
I've just made the name judging 2 just for the.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So when I do that, got it.
Then you see a whole list of all the participants and you select them by clicking into the box beside their name.
Yeah.
Everyone except Zoom Master 1 and A2.
So just my own learning I want to share with you all. There were 2 rooms that I had to rename which already had members. So they will stay if I just rename them. So for example, Zoom Master 1, Carol, you were in breakout room number 2, which I named judging 2. So if I don't want you to be there, I have to untick you, right?
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And at that point, you might be worried that you're sending people to the wrong room. You can move them from one room to another.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to go ahead and
open all rooms.
So what's going to happen is other 15 people are actually going to go to the other room. I first have to do move for each one. And I'm
Okay.
quickly going to do that.
Excellent. And this is the sort of thing that you need to keep in mind, that it takes time. And so practicing and making sure that you can get it right before the actual contest, it requires a couple of practices to get it right.
Is it an option to close all the breakout room once it finishes its purpose and reopen as we go?
Yeah, actually I looked for that before I gave my host permissions away and couldn't find the delete all rooms. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, so it seems I've done it right.
Except there we go. Kanchana is here.
Yeah.
Excellent. So then you can assign yourself there or stay here, whatever you prefer.
I want to actually learn about broadcasting the message. So yeah, I mean.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're in charge. So now when you look at your breakout room,
Yeah.
your panel, you should see broadcast down the bottom.
Yes, it says broadcast a message to all, and there's an arrow drop down.
Yeah, and all you need to do is type a message in there and it will be sent to them.
Wonderful. That's pretty easy.
Yeah, it is. If you want to just hand back the host to me and I'll
Sure.
just show you that.
Yeah.
And then I'll give Kanchana a chance to do something as well.
Okay, I've done that.
All right. So now I'm going to share my screen with you. And this is the part that I obviously didn't explain to everyone in the beginning, that in order to share the actual Zoom screen, you have to, that's not what I wanted. You have to have selected that option for yourself. Let me try that again. And to do that, you have to click into the advanced sharing options. But I won't go there just now. I just want to share just my screen. And for some reason, it's still showing the YouTube. Just pause everything. All I want to do now for options is, it still doesn't allow me to delete them all. Under options, Kanchana.
That's interesting.
So what I did before was I simply recreated them to give us 4 blank ones. So I'll do that now, and then I'll hand over to Heath for a moment, because one of the things that I failed to do was to instruct you on how to make those changes so you can share your screen Zoom control.